So I've been doing research on the idea of rhythm in the Sanskrit language, in our devotional practice, and how that rhythm is important and what effect it has. I like to play the frame drum. Before I was doing kirtan on harmonium, but once I started playing the frame drum, I realized that there's a different quality there in terms of expression. The ability to entrain in a pulse while you're chanting brings a different effect in the body and mind. You know, you're entraining and merging in a particular vibration there. And harmonium is great, but actually if you bring in the harmonium and the frame drum together, I have found a way to play it with my feet, just the drone, of course, and have that sound landscape behind the drumming and the chanting, and that to me is perfection. So, but this idea of rhythm, and what I've noticed, because 2 or 3 months ago I started chanting a very difficult passage called Sundarkand, and this is a very well-known text in India, which is part of the Ramayana. And it's the chapter 5 where Hanuman flies to Lanka and locates Sita and gives her the message from Lord Rama, and then does a few things like burning the place down, and then returns, and then they get ready to come and rescue her. So it's a happy chapter because it's people discovering their own nature and coming into their own rhythm, and then this rescue operation from God is about to start. So this is what this chapter is about. In any case, it's got like about 600 verses or something, and it's quite a big thing to do when you don't speak the language. So anyway, I took it on as a project, and what I found was that even though I knew the general meaning, of course, because I'd read the translation and I know some words, but, as I'm chanting, I'm not in the language, I'm not in the understanding. So I'm purely chanting from the language point of view, from the rhythm of the language, the sound of the language. And quite a few things have come up for me in doing that. First of all, it's like, in terms of pronunciation, of course, I don't know if I'm 100% getting it. This is in a language called Awadhi, which is a precursor or another dialect of Hindi. And in a way, how I've been informed, this language, we had Sanskrit and then Prakrit, and then languages like Awadhi, and then Hindi, modern Hindi, and other Indian languages. But the modern languages in current use, of course, they adapt words, like so many English words, digital era we're in, so many words come into your language. So the language is evolving. But some of these older languages, of course, and the texts that they're written, devotional texts written in that language, they stay in that way. There's no more words coming into it because it's not being actively used particularly. So there's a certain quality about it, and it's probably closer to the original scriptural languages than Hindi is right now. So as far as the pronunciation goes, a text like Sundarkand, written in this language by Tulsidas, it's written with a rhyme, it's written with a rhythm. And these two things go together. And this rhythm, if you understand the rhythm and start to feel this rhythm, then you realize when you've made a mistake because you didn't pronounce a word correctly. There's long vowels, short vowels, this type of thing. So if you get the long and short, you get this rhythm. And when you get the rhythm, it's just amazing what happens. Like, you really feel it. And even if, like I said, the words aren't having meaning as I'm chanting them, but somehow they're having meaning in this whole sense of rhythm and rhyme and devotion and whatever it's expressing. So I have found this idea of rhythm quite amazing in this chanting practice, and I do usually put on a rhythm. I haven't turned many pages, so I only rarely try to play it on the drum, but I have like an electronic rhythm or something like that going, or just doing it with myself, with no external rhythm. And in the beginning, doing it fast was actually easier than slow because I was forced to feel the rhythm. I couldn't get the words out so clearly, but I was forced to get the rhythm. So in the beginning, I just concentrated on the rhythm and didn't worry where I stumbled on pronunciation so much. And then after this rhythm started to take a groove in me, and in fact, in the beginning, I was sleeping, or all the time these sort of phrases were going through my head, and because I don't know the language, I couldn't bring out the actual language phrases, but the rhythmic phrases just kept going along, and my mind was just going like this to keep this rhythm alive. And I thought, I'm going to go crazy, and I wanted to stop it, but then I realized that's part of the process and to allow it. And it was a temporary part of the process. And even now, not much comes that's like real words, but occasionally a few phrases sort of pop in. I think it's quite a few years of practice for that to happen, for me at my age at least. So yeah, going back to this rhythm, when I did it faster in the beginning, I was following somebody else's chanting, so I was in their rhythm. And I did that for a while, and that's what sort of embedded some sense of rhythm in me. Then I started doing it with just a plain rhythm without anybody else chanting, so that I could get it and start to hear myself properly. And then I slowed it down a little bit more so I could start to look at pronunciation and some of the, syllables that I had to get right in my mouth, because in the beginning it was just So then I had to start to concentrate on getting the cerebral syllables or the dental syllables or whatever syllables. So I did that, and now I'm in that in-between stage. Sometimes I go faster, sometimes I go slower, and I experiment with that. So it's been an important journey, and this is what's triggered this whole idea of how rhythm is related to your bhakti, how it's related to this bhav. This is this bhavanam. Bhav. This means, they tend to make it mean your emotional mood, but it just really means your state of mind, your state of being, your bhav, how you are thinking, what is your attitude to life. And, the divine bhav is the one that is our devotional attitude, our devotional connection, our mood, our emotional state. So that seems to be very connected. And so as I go through this practice, more insights are coming, but I just wanted to share this right now as a self-discovery journey that I'm on, and to share this idea of rhythm, which is very important because everything is in rhythm. All the cycles are rhythms, all the bodily functions are in some form of rhythm. Our brain waves are in some rhythm, which is ever changing as we do different things. And, outside, the seasonal rhythms, the circadian rhythms, so many rhythms, and all sound has a rhythm, basically. Some of it's more chaotic and some of it's more structured, but everything has a rhythm, a frequency, a rhythm. And if we, they talk about connecting with the elements and all this, how do you do that? I feel it's like coming in tune with the rhythms. And, for that you have to be receptive to actually discover something about your own rhythm and the external rhythms, and how you can dance in this play of rhythms and cycles and be a part of that dance.